with the Bears because we've got some changes to the coaching staff in front office. The Bears right now must hire for 3 positions: assistant GM, running backs coach, and offensive coordinator, because 29-year-old Declan Doyle is headed to Baltimore to become their new OC. I'd imagine this is a job that a lot of people want it right with an MVP caliber quarterback like Lamar Jackson, who is, by the way, can you guys believe, the same age as Declan Doyle? Both of those guys are 29 years old. But this time, Doyle will have the chance to call plays in Baltimore. Chris, how much of a loss is this for Ben Johnson?
Ben Johnson picked Declan Doyle as his OC because that was somebody he could lean on in terms of managing the offense while he handles his first year as a full-time head coach and running that side of the show. And he really came to appreciate what Declan Doyle brought to the table. So it is a loss, but it's going to be a desirable job. And I know Ben Johnson's been preparing for this. They knew that Declan Doyle could be on the way out, could be looking for a promotion, and found the right spot, obviously, in Baltimore with Lamar Jackson with that team. So from the Bears standpoint, there's a lot of candidates internally. I think Press Taylor is probably the leading candidate to promote from passing game coordinator. Antoine Randall, somebody as well who could make the jump up. JT Barrett as well, somebody to keep an eye on. So you've got 3 internal candidates who could make that jump, and I think that could happen pretty quickly.
Declan Doyle, 29 years old, got his start as an offensive assistant with the Saints, followed Sean Payton to the Broncos, 2 seasons there as their tight ends coach. Ben Johnson said when you win and have success, teams are going to come calling. Russ, are you surprised that he's going to Baltimore here? Because I kind of thought maybe he should stay another year and really get the chance to continue to learn from Ben Johnson and for this offense to have some stability too.
Absolutely not. When you get an opportunity in the National Football League to be an offensive coordinator, but to call plays, oh, by the way, with a 2-time MVP, you're going to take that opportunity. I think the big thing for me, thinking about the Bears losing all of these coaches on their staff, is how long has it been in the city of Chicago where the Chicago Bears are a team that is losing assistants? I think that's a really good thing. And
I think firing them.
Right, not firing them this time of year. You're looking for other people for that reason. I think that's a really big deal for the organization. And I think it shows you that hiring Ben Johnson was the right call, because you would probably feel differently if your offensive coordinator leaves and you had maybe a defensive-minded head coach, and then you have to find another play caller. Knowing that Ben Johnson is going to be your play caller in 2026, you're feeling a lot more relaxed about it.
Do you expect Al Harris to still stay here in Chicago?
I think so, yeah. The opportunity was there in Pittsburgh if Mike McCarthy wanted to bring him on, and obviously that did not come to fruition. And that's significant for the Bears because Al Harris made that entire secondary better, and that's somebody you want to keep around. So at this point, I think he is staying put, maybe a year away from being a defensive coordinator, but he's going to get an opportunity too. And they got so many guys on this coaching staff who have been preparing for that jump up as Ben Johnson's been preparing for their move. So it's a good problem to have, as you mentioned. It means that your team is doing well, having success, and something that you want to mold your franchise around.
Bears 2025 season saw them win the NFC North, 11-6, double-digit wins there, and of course making it all the way to the divisional round. The news of losing Declan Doyle, though, comes right after the Bears find out they are also losing assistant GM Ian Cunningham. He's been hired as the Atlanta Falcons' new general manager, and if you take a look at his resume here, spent 4 seasons as Ryan Poles' right-hand man, played an important role in helping him rebuild the roster. He's interviewed for GM jobs in the years prior. Cunningham viewed as a young and up-and-coming exec, but this comes with an interesting wrinkle because the Bears will not receive compensatory draft picks as they normally would under the Rooney Rule. That's because Falcons team president Matt Ryan and not Cunningham is considered the primary football executive. Russ, why was this the right move for the Bears to not block this opportunity for him?
I think when you have people in your building that have worked for you, in this case, Ryan Poles, having Ian Cunningham work and learned under him for this time, and you have an opportunity to go be a general manager in the NFL, you give people that opportunity. I think it's another thing where if the Bears were to block Ian Cunningham from being a general manager, if you're him, just from a human nature standpoint, it's like, well, why would you guys do that when I've worked so hard here as an assistant GM and you're blocking a promotion? I think the Bears did the right thing. And I know people are upset about the compensatory draft picks. Look, the rules are the rules. He's not the main football voice there in Atlanta. But no, you're not going to block a guy who's worked so hard for you in your building when he has an opportunity to be a GM.
Cunningham takes over for Terry Fontenot, who was fired. Atlanta went, I believe, 8-9 this past season, looking to make it back to the playoffs since 2017. Before we take our first break, though, Chris Emma, Bill Belichick, a 6-time Super Bowl winning coach, is not a first ballot entry into the Hall of Fame. How surprised were you at this?
It's embarrassing for the Hall of Fame. It discredits the entire Hall of Fame and everybody in Canton. Tom Brady said it beautifully. If he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer being Bill Belichick, then nobody is. Like, this guy has Case is the all-time greatest coach in football history. There's no reason he should not be a Hall of Famer, first ballot. It's a stain for everybody, and it's really just embarrassing.
Well, coming up next here on CST, we are 4 days away from the NBA trade deadline, and the Bulls made a move last night. What it could mean for them down the road. Plus, we put our GM hats on as we lay out our Bears offseason needs and what moves we would be making. It's coming up next here on CST. Back here on CST, Russell, Chris, and Tina with you. This segment is brought to you by your Chicagoland Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. Ben Johnson made it clear that this offseason is about going back to square one. There's no rebuilding off of last season's success. The Bears have important decisions to make to remain a contending team next season. Here's a list at some of the players that are set to be free agents. It's tricky because they've got some key contributors here like Kevin Byard, Jaquan Brisker, Deshaun Wright. Hello, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, and you see Braxton Jones, Theo Benedict there. One of the biggest needs for the Bears this offseason, I think they got to upgrade the interior of the D-line. But it leads me to ask you guys this question. If you were the GM, as we put our GM hats on here, what move would you make this offseason? Russ, I'll start with you.
You are calling Andrew Berry, if you're Ryan Poles, all summer long and seeing what it takes to get Myles Garrett from the Cleveland Browns. That is the best pass rusher in the NFL right now. And if he says no, you call John Spytek of the Las Vegas Raiders and says, what does it take to get Max Crosby to Chicago? I will pick both of them up from O'Hare myself.
Okay, you would yourself.
I would. I'm volunteering.
All right. Russ and his really nice car, they're going to pick those two guys up. Chris, what move would you make?
I mean, you said it. It starts with the defensive line, that pass rush. Trey Hendrickson's a free agent. That's somebody who jumps out to me. This offseason is going to start with some difficult decisions in terms of the cap because you're over the cap right now. Cole Kmet, TJ Edwards, Tremaine Edmonds, DJ Moore, obviously. A bunch of guys, you got to make some decisions. I think Tremaine Edmonds might be on the way out as a cap casualty. We'll see about potential for trading with DJ Moore. But then you open up the books again. You got to upgrade your weakness, which is the defensive line. You got a decision to tackle as well without Ozzie Trapillo. So some interesting moves to make there, but you've got an opportunity to really upgrade this defense and make it complementary defensive line to the back end and the secondary and make this a really strong defense.
Give me Trey Hendrickson as well. I think Montez Sweat is more of a number 2 guy, but Trey Hendrickson, he's a bigger defensive end. He fits what Dennis Allen is looking for when it comes to getting players on the defensive side of the unit.